Alrighty, welcome to my little review of Overloud's TH3. TH2 was my recording software of choice before because it was a nice package. It's not that it was the best sounding software of all, because you can find some independent distributors of cabinet sounds, for instance Rosen, that made cabinet impulses that sound better than the ones in TH2, and you can find some Marshall BSTs that sound a bit better than the ones in TH2, but overall it was a nice package. You had it all together there. You have all the nice amps, all the nice cabs, all the nice distortions, delays, reverbs, everything, and it was really good sounding, and it was very convenient. However, I was always missing a few things that I had to use other software, like for recording, for instance, guitars, where I do harmonizing. I was using an external intelligent harmonizer, or pitch shifter. The one included in TH2 wasn't so good. Well, they made a new version, TH3, and it's fantastic. They improved everything, or almost everything, but the important thing, which is the sound, they improved it a lot. They improved all the plugins, they improved all the pedals, all the amps, all the effects, everything. So I'm very happy with it. Right now I'm playing the demo version, or you can see it says full feature demo, and that's because you can go to Overloud's website and they allow you to test TH3 for like 10 or 15 days, I don't remember right now, to see if you like it. But when that demo finishes, I'm gonna buy it right away because it's really good. Okay, I'm gonna be showing you a few of my favorite amps, like for instance that one, the Plexi. Of course, that imitates, or that's supposed to be a Marshall Super Lead 50 watts, and I'm gonna be showing you how it sounds with what I usually put on it. Just in front of it, that tube screamer overdrive, and diode 250, which is an imitation of I don't remember the name of the company that produced it, but it sounds very similar to that Ingwe Malmsteen distortion. Okay, also some reverb and quite a lot of delay. I like it soaking wet in delay. Also, I'm going to be showing you how this sounds with the harmonizer, and the cabinet is a vintage Marshall cabinet. I think it's supposed to have like Celestion speakers in. Okay, so that's how does it sound with all that setup. To me, it sounds way better than TH2. It's hard to explain because in TH2, the Marshalls, they were, well, it didn't have a Marshall, for starters. It didn't have a Marshall per se. It had like one amp that have a few imitations of other amps inside. I don't remember the name of it. But you could choose one amp that inside they have imitation of Marshall, and you could make it sound as well like Fender Plexi, a Fender Twin, or I don't know, Soldano, etc. But I didn't really have a Marshall per se. And that imitation, that amp that imitate other sounds in TH2 didn't sound as good as that Plexi. It sounds good, it sounds really good, but that one sounds fantastic. You can hear they have like more hair on it. It sounds more like a real speaker. You can hear it breathing. It's hard to explain, but it have that more of that certain quality that differentiates the virtual instruments and the real speakers. Of course, it's never gonna sound like a real speaker, but that one, it sounds as close as possible, really. And let's gonna try without the reverb and the delay. Okay, that's without any effects, just a bit of overdrive. And actually I'm gonna take out the overdrive so you can hear it by itself. Of course, the Marshall Plexi is not a really powerful amp in terms of overdrive. It doesn't distort too much. It sounded like the real thing. Almost exactly like the real thing. It's really, really good. Okay, here we go with one of the new features in TH3 that I personally was missing a lot, which is an intelligent harmonizer. That one is very nice. You have two voices. You can add, for instance, I don't know, like a third, a fifth, and then a second voice with another third, or a lower third, or a lower fourth, whatever you want. Usually I have it with a 1 octave lower voice and 1/3. Okay, I don't even remember what key is in G. Here you can select the key. Okay, so it shall sound something like that. And one not. It sounds like any other harmonizer in the world. It sounds really good, actually. I wasn't playing perfectly in tune. That's why it sounded a bit dodgy, but... And that's the Marshall. And it sounds fantastic. I'm going to be showing you a few more amps. Not all of them, because I have like 100. I don't know, I have too many. Especially high gain amps, which to me they're not especially useful. I just use 1 or 2 of those because, I don't know, any other software company produces some... BST that nails the high gain amps. It's like the easiest thing to do, but it's really difficult to imitate properly those low overdrive, those classical sounds. Those are really hard. They're really finicky to find. And that one TH3 nails it totally. That's the basement. I'm playing it with the 2 screamer in front, with the cabinet that comes with it. And of course with some delay and reverb, which I don't know what they are after. I like them in front of the cabinet. Yeah, that way it sounds better. As you can tell, the graphical interface, they change it, and they actually change it for worst. I like better the old one, because that one you're gonna be changing, I mean, zooming in and out all the time. Every time you have to change something, you see, it's like you have to zoom out to see where you are. Then you have to move it, then you move it closer and you see what you're doing. But you want to go to the other side, you have to zoom out, then you get there, and zoom in again. I guess they're going to fix it in newer versions. I don't know, but what matters to me is the sound, and that's perfect. So, yeah, first always the reverb and then the delay. Remember that, remember that, children? The proper place to do it is that way. First the reverb and then the delay, because what the delay does is repeating the sound. And you want that sound that it gets repeated to have reverb on it. Okay, so of course you can play the other way around, but it doesn't sound as nice. Okay, so that's the Fender Bassman. And that's how it sounds. That noise that you can hear every now and then when I finish playing is my guitar cable. Okay, I'm playing with my handmade guitar and it's quite dodgy. It's quite old already. And yeah, by the way, but those who are interested in the pickups that I'm using, as you saw in the video, you can tell if that guitar has pickups or not, but it's not working on pieces. Actually, underneath that kind of metallic looking plate, there's real pickups, and you have a Van Halen handmade pickup on the bridge and a Texas special on the neck. So I'm playing all the time, changing between a humbucker, a low output humbucker, and a high output single coil. So that's the two sounds that you hear all the time, like a single, a humbucker, and single again. You see? So that's the bass face. Let's go try without the tube screamer. And you know the bass face doesn't have distortion knob on it. What you can do, you wanna make it sound cleaner, because it can sound as clean as you want. Just turn down the volume. and keep the level at the same level. Okay, let's keep the reverb and the delay. And it sounds clear as well. With the humbucker, still clean, but a bit more distorted. Yeah, that's the other thing. You know how they always say that, no, with virtual instruments, it doesn't, I don't like it because it doesn't matter what guitar you play, it's always the same, always sounds the same, you cannot tell the difference in pickups. You totally can with that one. I mean, I can hear the difference perfectly between my single and my humbucker. Like, I guess you can hear it as well, right? Single. It totally sounds different. And unless you're deaf, you can hear it as well. So that's the bass phase without any delay or reverb or nothing. And it sounds fantastic. Okay, I want to show you as well. Yeah, why not? The Fender Twin, my other favorite here. As I told you, there's many, too many actually, for my taste, high gain amps, and they sound really good. They sound like the real thing. But to me, yeah, they're fun. But it's like almost everyone that make those sound good. But the ones that are difficult to nail the sound are those, the classical amps, the low overdrive things. And TH3, really, it sounds totally like the real thing, exactly like the real thing. That's the Fender Twin. Some distortion. You have, oh no, I don't have distortion here. Okay, but the same with some delay and some reverb. Excuse me while I put the overdrive and the reverb where it belongs. There you go. That's my single coil. My humbucker. And it sounds glorious. It sounds light years away from the sounds that you could get in TH2, really. Let's hear it without the delay and without the reverb. With the single coil. And the same as with the basement, if you want it less distorted, you just put down the volume. It doesn't have a distortion volume. You can make it sound as clean as you want. And that's the Fender Twin. To me, it sounds fantastic. It sounds as close as possible to the real thing. I want to show you the cabinets as well because they're really good, and you have also a lot. But I want to show you the system, the graphical interface. As you can see, have actually less options than in TH2, which is not a bad thing. Maybe it had too many options, I don't know. But what I know for sure is that the options that they give you in TH3, they're more than enough. You also have two mics that you can move up and down, all around, farther or closer, and you can select the volume for the first mic, for the second mic, for the rear mic, For the 45-degree mic, you can also give it that transpire or respire thing that make it sound more real. It give it more like headroom. And the ambience, you can select none, or you can make it sound like you're in a wooden room, in a heavily carpeted room, in a live room, whatever. That's the one that I prefer, the wooden room. So as you can tell, there's less options and a bit worse of a graphical interface, but the sounds are fantastic. Way better than TH2. They really work hard on that. And yeah, for the last one, I want to show you a preset. By the way, there's 1,000,000,000 presets. You have those categories here, like what's new in TH3, experience TH3. You have it categorized by rock, by style pop, or classical, or whatever, metal. But what I do always is, what I recommend to do is to select the sounds that you're always going to be using and put them apart. And just use those 4 or 5 or 7 or 10 sounds that you always use, because otherwise you can get lost in the presets. There are too many, clearly too many. So just spend a day or two looking through them and find the ones that you like and modify them to your likings, and that's gonna save you a lot of time. And one that I use all the time in my studio is that one. That's the guitar to bass patch. I modified a bit, but it's more or less like the preset that it came with the TH3. And that's something that I use a lot. When I'm recording properly music, I use my bass. But when I'm sketching, when I'm composing songs and I want to record some quick bass lines, what I do is I use my guitar. And I just use some plugins, some virtual instrument to make it sound an octave lower. It doesn't really sound like a bass, but it's good enough for some quick sketches and for some composing. I couldn't do that with TH2 because the pitch shifter effect that it wasn't good enough. So when you play more than one note at the same time, like say those two, that's one, that's the other one. You could play that one and it will sound good. But if you play both at the same time, in here it sounds fantastic. In TH2 you could hear a massive warble sound like blah 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 blah, like it couldn't take it. It couldn't handle the memory. Well, in TH3 they improved it so much, the effects, that's good enough for recording now. And you can play those kind of bass lines where you play more than one note. And all that thing, you know. And it sounds fantastic, it sounds good enough. It doesn't sound exactly like a bass, but almost as good as a bass. And really all there is here is that noise gate, which I always add. That's the new one that they have. I'm gonna show you the other one. That's the one that they had until TH2. It was that gate expander. That quiet, the new one is way better. I like it way better. That's the new pitch shifter, and that's really not much more. A bass amp and a bass cabinet, and it sounds that way. And whatever. It sounds fantastic. It sounds almost as good as the real thing to me. I'm gonna show you the different noise reduction amps. Yeah, it comes with 2 or 3 bass amps and 2 or 3 cabinet for bass. I'm gonna show you the different ones. Okay, that's the 410s and that's the 115. And you can hear that it sounds deeper, like a real, it's like the real difference that I will make playing with one 10 inches cone and one 15 inches cone. The 15 one sounds deeper with more lows, actually a bit too many lows. Okay, and let's gonna try a different bass amp. Randall, that's the Randall Lynch box. That's the amp that I couldn't remember the name. Remember that I was telling you that in TH2 you had one amp that imitates many other. That was the one. I couldn't remember the name. Randall Lynch box. Yeah, and it sounded alright, and you can make it sound like a Marshall, like a Fender. But here they put the real thing on, and you can tell the difference. You can totally tell the difference. It sounds way better. Okay, let's gonna replace that amp by the one. It sounds good as well. I know, different taste. It's gonna give it a bit more drive, a bit more volume. I don't know, I tried them all and they all sound a bit different, but they all sound good to me. But I'm not a bass player. To me they all sound, yeah, a bit different, but good enough for me. Okay, so that's the TH3 Overloud. I'm gonna be showing all the super high gain amps, at least in that video. If you want me to do more, just leave me a comment asking for it and I'll do it. But I guess that's enough, because I show you the ones that are, the amps that are more difficult to sound like, like the ones with little overdrive or with subtle frequencies, like that Bassman, like the Tweed, like the classical Plexi. So that's TH3 by Overloud, and I hope you liked the video, and I hope it was useful for you. If you like it, subscribe it, comment, give me likes, and whatever. Bye bye.